Minutes to the gentlewoman, the ranking member, Eleanor Holmes Norton from the District of Columbia.
Gentlelady is recognized for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank my good friend and in this enterprise partner, along with the informal partnership we made with our Republican chairs, and that's what it's been, an informal partnership with members and also with staff, and I want to recognize the countless hours of staff time that went into what is really a very long and in many ways complicated bills. The four of us are co-sponsors, original co-sponsors of this bill, indicating its bipartisan nature. Because Ranking Member DeFazio has gone down many of the important parts of the bill, I want to speak to 3 or 4 that I think are of particular significance. Let's start with funding. We understand that funding is at the core of any transportation, transit, or infrastructure bill. And we also understand that there may be barely enough funding to get through 2.5 years, and that this is a 6-year bill in name and intent only, but it does amount to a 6-year promise, and we must keep that promise. I appreciate that this bill is on the floor this week because states have so little money that they have virtually ceased beginning major projects, and those are the projects that they most need. The states will be disappointed that the funding is essentially the same as it was in the prior bill, MAP 21, except for inflation, which of course has been virtually non-existent. But they will be grateful for what certainty this bill provides for the immediate future, unlike our short-term reauthorizations. The shortcomings of this bill should not obscure what makes this bill unique. It is genuinely bipartisan. It was approved unanimously in committee. When does that happen in this Congress? Democrats and Republicans put aside their many differences, giving up much of what they believed they need, and I hope this bill will be a model for how to proceed in the future. Let me say a word about major projects. The administration had a projects of national significance section in its bill. We have a different major projects section, but it is somewhat comparable. It is meant for transformational investments of the kind that are sorely needed throughout the United States. Mega projects. Now, people are going to have to compete for them. What's important in this highway or this program of national significance is that it includes freight. And for the first time, I think this bill recognizes that whatever we do with transportation infrastructure, we should have in mind its intermodal connections, and freight is a part and a very important part of that. I want to mention the 21st century approach to the Highway Trust Fund, a provision I especially pressed for. I regard this provision as a provision of overriding importance. When I say a 21st century highway trust fund, I mean a trust fund that lasts or can last for 6 years. We are still in the throes of a 1950s highway trust fund, and in the last authorization bill, we did nothing to move forward to update the trust fund. However, the states began to experiment. Could I have another couple of minutes?
I would grant the gentlelady 2 additional minutes.
I thank my good friend. The states have done spade work, however, Oregon, Washington, California, so there's $20 million to encourage them to do more, and we know what some of these experiments are, vehicle miles, et cetera. Think of new ways. We need to encourage this experiment if we're to fund these bills in the future. Another of my priorities, which are relevant to every state, is in this bill, and that is the takeover of our Metro Rail by the Department of Transportation. That was envisioned in MAP 21. It is not very unusual. In addition, this bill authorizes the so-called Minority Business Contract DBE program, which is available to racial and ethnic minorities and service-disabled veterans. They are the only groups which, under the Constitution, may obtain this special recognition. It enhances Buy America. It has workforce development. It enhances the safety of bus riders and of bus drivers, and there's $40 million in here to encourage state-based efforts to combat racial profiling traffic, and we've seen people in the streets for that one. I'm so pleased that there was bipartisan support for that and other provisions. I look forward to the continuation of the bipartisan partnership we have had as we go forward to the Senate to produce a comprehensive bipartisan bicameral bill. I thank my good friend for yielding, and I yield back the remainder of my time.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania.